Hello and welcome to the Cincinnati Observatory. I'm Dean Regas, I'm the astronomer here, and let me show you around. So the observatory has two buildings. We have the main building and we have the secondary building. This one is the newer one, built in 1904, but it houses our pride and joy, the oldest telescope in the United States. Come on in, let's take a look. So this is our very old telescope, made in Munich, Germany in 1843 and then shipped over to Cincinnati in 1845. So that means it's going to be 175 years old. Its birthday is April 14th. That's when they first looked through the telescope. So we'll be able to sing happy birthday to the telescope on April 14th. How it works is there's a big lens up at the top that's 11 inches in diameter, and then the tube is 16 feet long, made out of wood and brass. This thing is so gorgeous to look at, but we can also look through it on every clear night to look at the stars, the planets, the moon, all sorts of stuff. Now how it works is very simple. Everything on here moves by hand, so I can move it with one finger. It's just incredible for how heavy this is. You can move it around so easily, back and forth like this, and you can move it out to the side like this, and aim it up at anything you want in the sky. So if we want to see something up in the sky, that means we got to open up the roof. And we have the shutter here. This is our window to the sky. How it works is, well, let me show you. You pull one rope, that unlocks it. Then you pull the other rope to open it. Now, if we want to look a different direction, that means we need to move the window, and that means moving the entire dome around. And this can all be done by hand. Check this out. All I have to do is turn this crank, and I can spin the whole roof. Now I can point this in any direction and look anywhere I want in the sky. Now if I want to look to the other side of the sky, that means I have to spin the roof all the way over there, plus I have to move the telescope to the other side of the room. This is called flipping the telescope, and it is really cool, so check this out. To flip the scope first, I have to push it up here to an angle about like that. Then I need to flip it over to the other side using the flipping rope. That's over on this side, and so if I pull on this rope, I can flip the whole scope, just like this. So now I have the telescope on this side of the room, and I can look out at that side of the sky. So this is our bigger dome with the larger telescope. Right in here we have the old telescope from 1904, the Alvin Clark & Sons telescope. It is 22 feet long, 16 inches in diameter, and barely fits in this gigantic dome. Let's go in for a closer look. All right, so let's take a look here. So this telescope is so humongous, 22 feet long, 16 inches in diameter, and the tube itself weighs over 1,000 pounds. But you can move it just as easily as the other telescope. All I have to do is pull on this, and I can move the telescope. Take a look up there. I can swing this around and point it in any direction I want, and aim it at any part of the sky. Now, of course, we got to open up the roof to be able to see some stuff. So come on over here. This is how we open up the roof. We have this rope that unlocks it, and this rope that opens it up. Check this out. Well, once we have the window open, well, we got to point the window in the right direction, and we have to move the entire roof. This 30-foot wide hemisphere, we got to spin around, and this can all be done by hand, right on over here. Turn this crank, and look at the roof. Now this telescope has some high-tech features. I call it the remote control. Instead of just pushing the telescope with your hand, I can actually turn these two dials. That's the remote control. The top wheel will move the telescope up and down like this. And the bottom wheel will move it in and out like this. So I can position the telescope anywhere I want very easily using the remote control. This telescope also has a tracking device. This is something that will keep the telescope moving and following the stars around the sky. It's also old. It dates back to 1904 and doesn't work on electricity. Inside this window, this is where the tracking device is. This is the clock drive. And to get the clock drive going, well, I have to give it some energy. And that's what I have to do with this down here. In here, we have a 400-pound weight. And I need to lift up that 400 pounds to get the tracking device working. So I do the crank, and here it goes. I crank the weight up, and then the weight slowly falls, and now the clock and tracking device is working, and it'll move the telescope to follow the stars. Well, thanks for coming for this virtual tour of the observatory. We'd love to have you come visit in person. Check out our website, www.cincinnatiobservatory.org, for what's coming up.